Hmm. For a couple of minutes there, I actually believed in my sleeper pick, Carolina. I thought they were going to scrape together a playoff spot, but, well, I think that's over now. They got a tough schedule to close out, and after blowing that game to the Falcons, they got the, when I think of the Falcons versus the Panthers, I think of Deshaun Foster. He always has these big games against the Falcons, so I would have fed him the ball all game and hoped for the best. I don't know, but, they blew it. They let Atlanta drive down to field goal range at the end of the game, and then just to add insult to injury, they gave up the touchdown to Crumpler. I give my credit to Harrington. He managed the game and did what he needed to do. Work done, is doing just enough to help his team win. There's some signs of life in Atlanta. And, I still don't think Harrington's the long-term answer. I still think it's got to be... They got to draft somebody. Brian Brom, Andre Woodson, Matt Ryan, whoever's there. But, nice to see some signs of life. Carolina, the defensive line has disappeared. The running game isn't there. Testaverde, I thought he could play a little better than this. I know he's not a great quarterback anymore and never really was, but I thought he could have managed the game and at least known enough to chuck it up to Smith a couple times a game and, hope for the best. And actually, the one time Smith had a chance to make a big play, he did fumble it into the end zone, so there you go. But all things being the same, Carolina should have won this game. They know they're better than Atlanta. Bengals over the Ravens, field goal fest, For all the hype the Bengals offense gets, they can't even put up a single touchdown. Of course they won. That's something they needed right now because they haven't done much winning this season, but, that you got to find the end zone. They got Chris Henry back, and already we can see how important a part of how important he is to that offense. T.J. Houshmandzadeh finally didn't score a touchdown, first time this season, and that shows you how good he's been this year. I think he should make the Pro Bowl over Chad Johnson if need be. And, oh man, Ravens. Is it that hard of a concept to run the ball? I mean, how many turnovers does Steve McNair have to commit before you realize he's garbage and the only chance you have of winning is to run the ball with Willis McGahee? And I don't think McGahee's great either. I don't. But the bottom line is, you're not going to win games throwing the ball. Clayton hasn't been the receiver I thought he would be. Mason's been having a great year, but it's all for naught for the most part. Put Bowler in and let McGahee try and carry this team. I think it's too late. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but let McGahee try and carry the team. That's all I got to say. And Bears, Raiders, nobody really cared about this game because it was on the same time as Dallas, New York, but just a pretty boring game, no offense, and at the end, Rex Grossman lives again. He comes out, the team's down by 3, they need a big play. He flips it up to Bernard Berrien, and 60 yards later, you got yourself a Bears win. Turnover at the end to seal it up. For Grossman, I don't think he's back. If he ever was good, which is arguable, I just think, he had one good throw, and good for him. But I don't think it's going to last. I still think Greasy is the better option for this team. Maybe that's not saying much. But, it was a nice throw. But, he's got this mentality of, screw it, I'm going deep. And that doesn't last long in this league. That's just how it is. So, and as for the Raiders, I want to see Jamarcus Russell. The season's in the toilet. The Culpepper experiment failed. The McCown experiment is failing, and unless you want to put Andrew Walter out there and hope for the best, I'd start Jamarcus Russell right about now. Cardinals over Lions. As soon as I buy into the Lions, they do this. They can't run the ball. They had negative 16 rushing yards in this game. That's beyond pathetic. There were turnovers left and right in this game, and Arizona took advantage of them. That's why they won. I think they had 17 points off turnovers. Detroit had 7. Arizona wins by 10. You tell me what decided that game. Arizona played well. Their offense did a real nice job. Leonard Pope and Fitzgerald had big games. It's a testament to my opinion most of the season. If a team out there can contain the Lions' pass rush, they have a good one, but if you can contain them, their defense is helpless. They got no secondary. That's my concern about Detroit. After what happened against Arizona, I stand by that opinion. And Arizona, they're a game behind us now. All we got to do is beat them later this season. Take care of business there, and everything will be okay. But they're on our tail. We got to think about them a little bit because they could still win the division or maybe make a wild card. So we got to think about that. We're not in the clear yet. And the Lions meet the Giants next week, and to me, whoever wins that game is getting the 5th seed. The loser gets the 6th seed, so it's going to be an important game. Finally, Cowboys not finally, but the Cowboys beat the Giants. Big game by, as one of my Cowboys fan friends calls him, Tony Rambo. He's got a couple of nicknames, but maybe that's a new one, I don't know. That flip to Tony Curtis in the end zone was beautiful. That, kind of a broken play and everything, but not too many quarterbacks can do that. Not too many quarterbacks would do that. T.O. had that huge game. He was being contained until the Giants' defense thought it would be smart to put these no-names on him, these guys that can't cover him, and they were trying to single cover him with these bums. They were just asking for that. I thought Manning played pretty well. His numbers are pretty mediocre at the end of the day, but I think he showed some good poise. Shockey played out of his mind for the first time in a little while, in my opinion. He had a real good game. Brandon Jacobs is still looking pretty good, I think. I think the Giants, they played a pretty good game, but those penalties were killer. They took away a touchdown, maybe even 2. Penalties killed them. So, base of the East, that's what the Cowboys are. I mean, the divisional race, it's not over, but it's getting there. The Cowboys got effectively a 3-game lead over the Giants, and they can really put this thing on ice by beating Washington next week. Should be an okay game, just because of the rivalry. And where's the discipline on this team? There's so many stupid penalties by the Cowboys right now, and I think it comes back to Wade Phillips being a player's coach. Parcells would never have stood for that stuff. They gave the Giants 3 free points at the end of the first half. Parcells would have cut that guy right then and there. Well, not literally, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Where's the discipline? That's going to hurt them later. It already hurt them against New England, and it's going to hurt them against Green Bay. It's going to hurt them if they get to the Super Bowl, when they play in the playoffs, Final game, this one hurt. I watched this. Chargers and Colts, Oh, man. I'm not used to seeing Manning play like that. I'm not. I love Peyton Manning, and no matter what he does for the rest of his career, to me, he's always going to be a special, special player that I really appreciate watching, but 6 picks, not all of them were his fault. Some were bad throws. Some were the receiver's fault. Some were just great defensive plays. They went all different ways, really.